All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that. So, today's topic, what am I going to be talking about? Okay. So, I want to talk about ultimatums. How many of you guys ever feel like, okay, there's things in your life that you want, there's stuff that you're believing God for and you're asking God for, and you're just like, God, I'm waiting on this, I'm waiting on that, I'm waiting for you to just give me breakthrough in whatever the area is in your life. And that's awesome. Like, I totally get that. There's areas where I'm just desperately like, God, come on, you got to pull through. You got to do this for me. And it's frustrating waiting on God for those things. But I think so often, many of us, not all, but many of us, we get to a place to where we say, God, you have to do this. You have to come through for me in this area. Otherwise, I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to be content. And then we throw a temper tantrum. What do I mean? We elevate the thing we desire above God himself. And we know when we're doing that. We can't fool ourselves. We know when we put something else on a pedestal above God. I genuinely had this conversation with God a couple of days ago. I told him, I said, God, look, you know my heart. You already know it. And you know my problem. My problem is that I am elevating this thing above you. I want this thing more than I want you. I am throwing a toddler temper tantrum saying, God, if you don't give me this, then what? God's like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do if I don't give that to you? Sometimes in our heart, we're thinking, well, I don't know if I'm going to serve you. I don't know if I'm going to do this ministry. I don't want to do anything because you aren't going to give me that. If you aren't going to give me that, then I'm not all in. And as crazy as that seems, it is some of our hearts. I get it. And so we have to position our hearts to a place where we say, you know what? God, yes, in my heart, I want this thing more than I want you. Yes, I've elevated my dream. I've elevated this ministry, whatever it is above you. Help me to humble myself so that I want you more than I want it. Because before God can bless us, our hearts need to be in the right place. So think for a second, what are those things that you have been waiting on God for, asking God for, and you're wanting breakthrough? What are those things? In order for God to give it to us, we need to be at a place to where we can receive it. And so many times we're wasting time because God is really waiting on us to get our hearts right, to get our minds right. And until we say, God, if I get nothing else, if you do nothing else for me, you've done more than enough. And you are the God that I serve. If you do nothing else, I will serve you for the rest of my life. Until we get our hearts to that position, God is unable to really bless us with some of the amazing things that we're desiring or that he's desiring for us because we aren't going to know how to handle that. So what are those things that you're asking God for? Maybe it's a spouse. Maybe, God, I want this spouse so much that it is on a pedestal above you. It's all I think about. It's all I dream about. And even though you're doing all this amazing stuff in my life, I push it to the background because I'm waiting on this one thing. God says, wait a second. What are you doing with the ministry that I've already given you? Ministry with your family at home, ministry at church. What is it that God wants to do in your life? Maybe you're a volunteer. Maybe you're ministering to children. Maybe you're ministering to adults. Whatever it is, why are you not working hard at tilling that land that he has already given you? You're saying, God, I don't want to till the land in front of me. I want more land. God said, I'm not going to give you more land until you learn how to take care of the land that I've already given you. Because when God gives us something that we're desiring, and that thing breaks our heart, that thing hurts our feelings, that thing doesn't go exactly the way we want, man, that can cause total destruction when we don't have God as number one in our lives. Because when we do ministry or get those things that we want, even when those kind of go off track sometimes, if God is number one, we'll still be okay. But if a spouse is our number one, when they hurt our feelings, then we're a mess. We don't even seek God because God is not our God. Our spouse has been our God. Does that make sense? So Are we being a good steward with the ministry that God has already given us? God wants to bless you. God wants to do for you, but he wants to be number one in your life. And sometimes we just try to fool God and it's impossible. And we say, God, yeah, you're number one. Yeah, you're my everything. But is that really true? Are you putting things on a pedestal above God himself? Maybe you put your children on a pedestal. Maybe you put your spouse on a pedestal. Maybe even you put your ministry on a pedestal above God. God says, you know what? All of that stuff will fail you at some point in time. They will hurt your feelings at some point in time. They will not always go the way you want it to be, but I will never fail you. If God is number one, we'll be in the right place. God wants to bless you, but he wants to be number one in your life. So we can't give God an ultimatum. We can't manipulate God. It's impossible. God is not moved by our temper tantrums. God is not moved by our ultimatum saying, well, if you won't do this, then I won't do that. He'll say, okay, fine then. We'll sit here and we'll wait. And if you waste the rest of your life focusing on the thing that you don't have and not enjoying what I have already given you, then you don't deserve those good things. What has God already given you? What has he already put in front of you? Till that land, and you will reap a harvest, and you will gain new land. You can't reap a harvest if you don't till the land, work the land that you already have. And I think in this time period that we live in, we're so spoiled and we're so selfish and we're so used to getting things our way, the easy way, to where we expect for God to do the same thing for us. God says, no, I need to change your heart. I need to change your mindset so that you are able to do what I have called you to do, what I've asked you to do. So I hope you guys enjoy that. That was super short, but that's okay. Here is So Will I by Hillsong. Love you guys. Follow me on Facebook, okay? Love of the Cross, loveofthecross.com as well, or YouTube. Subscribe down here. And if this has blessed you in any way, shape, form, or fashion, please share these videos. Share it to your Facebook, whatever. I love you guys, and I will see you guys tomorrow.